All right, now we're going to bring up our first panel discussion. We have Jonathan from Hackers and Founders. We have Martha Edith from Lean Launchpad. We have a good friend from A Long Way, Horacio from Startup Chile, and also Didem from Web Forward. So welcome.
How are you?
I thank you all for coming. I'm going to be trying to moderate this discussion. And I say trying because I think that while we think of accelerators as a monolithic thing, the reality is that all of you have different things that you do and different methodologies that you use. And so I want to go into that a little bit. But first, I would like for you to introduce yourself. Just give us a brief explanation about what your accelerator, how it does, who it's recruiting, how does it go about that? Just go down the line.
Sure. I'm Jonathan Nelson. I run an organization called Hackers and Founders. We're primarily a freemium events company. We run networking events in Silicon Valley from 1 to 5 every week. We have 11,000 members. We also have 51 chapters in 20 countries, giving us a total reach of about 70,000 members, last I counted. And the premium bit is every couple of months we have applications where startups can apply, get feedback and a score from other startups. And then if your score is high enough, we hold an event called Investor Office Hours. And it's kind of a speed dating with 6 investors. And I ask the investors to give us a score of how likely this startup is to raise $1 million in capital or have $1 million of revenue in the next 12 months. And then the top scoring startups we'll offer to work with in our Guild program, which is the name of our accelerator. And we provide design services, sales services, talent support, because hiring is quite difficult, immigration policy, regulatory sort of stuff, Investor Week events, and produce pitch videos for them.
Great, thank you so much. Marta Edith.
Hi, my name is Marta Edith Hernandez, and I help run the Lean Startup at UC Berkeley, the Haas School of Business. So what we're doing is implementing Steve Blank's methodology on the failing fast. And what we do is in 7 weeks, we run several teams, anywhere from 15 to 27, through 100 interviews. So in 7 weeks, they have to talk to 100 people, what they think are their potential customers, and develop their customer segments. So by the time they're done with us, they know exactly what their customer segments are and what their MVP is. What's really fun to see in these 7 weeks is that a lot of people come in, really gung-ho, ready. They already know what their customer segments are, or so they think. And within 2 or 3 weeks, after talking to 30, 40, or 50 people, they realize either A, nobody really cares about their product in the market, or B, they're not ready for it yet. So sometimes they go back into development and figure out exactly what they think they need and how to pivot. There are 2 main accelerator programs, I guess, that we run. One is on a national level, where you have the opportunity of working with a professor and a team. So you have the professor, an entrepreneurial lead, and a business mentor. And all of this is free. So that one is on a national level, and you get to go to different parts of the country. That one, you do need a professor that's at a university. That one gets funded with $50,000 just for going through the program. You get $50K just for going through the 7 weeks. And most of the program is online. So it's just 3 days in training, in person, 5 weeks via WebEx once a week with your faculty, and then 2 days of final presentations. So that's the same format for both of them. There's one regional one that I'm recruiting for in the next 5 months. That's going to be here local in the Bay Area, and it's going to be the same methodology with Steve Blank and UC Berkeley faculty.
Great, thank you. And now from Chile.
Hi, my name is Horacio Melo. I'm the Executive Director of Startup Chile. Startup Chile is an organization that was born 3 years ago. It's a program from the Chilean government that aims to attract early-stage entrepreneurs to start their businesses in Chile. To attract them, we provide $40,000 equity free. That's probably one of the most important parts for entrepreneurs. We give them co-working space. We help them to accelerate their models. We use Lean Startup. We use different methodologies. And what we ask, because you may ask, well, it's equity free, but what you win at the end is we ask the founder to live in Chile for at least 6 months, and during that 6-month period to do social activities. And social activities for us means mentor a local startup, do talks in universities, sharing his experience as an entrepreneur, organizing hackathons. At the end, is doing any kind of activities that promotes entrepreneurship. So the idea is to have a short-term cultural change because of the Startup Chile entrepreneurs, and because of that cultural change, to have a long-term economical impact led by Chileans. So at the end is to really, as Jonathan said, hack the Chilean economy through entrepreneurship. The program has a little bit more than 3 years. We already received more than 10,000 applicants that came from more than 100 countries, so it's very global. And we already select more than 750 companies that came from more than 65 countries. The ecosystem in Chile is evolving very fast. There are more and more things happening, very good in terms of corporations supporting entrepreneurship, investors really backing startups over there, et cetera, et cetera. And also it's important to mention that in these 3 years and a half, like Startup Chile went a lot of validation outside Chile. So we were appearing in very important media outlets, not just in Chile, but the US, also including The Economist in the UK, et cetera, et cetera. So that's pretty much it.
Great, thank you. Please.
Hi, my name is Didam, and I am the program manager of Web Forward, Mozilla's global accelerator program. Perhaps you already know that Mozilla is a non-profit organization with a mission to promote openness, innovation, and opportunity on the web. And Web Forward was built to extend this mission to help startups that are building open source products. And we offered a 3-month program, and similar to Startup Chile, we do not take any equity. And similar to the Berkeley program, most part of our program is virtual. So we work with startups from all around the world. We do not require relocation. And only in the beginning and in the end of the program, we invite the startups to the Bay Area for orientation and graduation respectively. And then during that 3 months, we host 2 meetings per week virtually using video conferencing tools. We bring in experts and we provide trainings mainly on core business skills. Because we focus on open source startups, the co-founders we work with are usually very technical people with little to no business experience. So we provide core business trainings on strategy, user research, marketing, legal, finance, etc. And then we also provide strategy mentors, pair each startup with a mentor, and then we connect them with Mozilla experts. And so we run the program for almost 2 years. We worked with more than 33 startups. 50% of them were from Europe. And now we are exploring new models to scale our impact, which will be through creating workshops on topics that Mozilla has a strong muscle in, and partnering with other startup programs to deliver these workshops.
Great, thank you. So as you can see, there's many flavors to the accelerator. So one of the first questions I've had, and some other people had mentioned, is what is the minimum viable product that you want to see? What makes you say yes to this company and no to the other? Is it the team? Is it the product? Is it the market? Is it the technology? Is it a combination? Who do you want to see apply that you can say yes to? And what are some of the steps that we can take to make sure that we're ready to have that yes?
So I hate saying yes to founders because that means I have to say no to a lot more. So to get around that problem, I've actually outsourced our entire selection process.
Wow, okay.
Just because, and that's why we have entrepreneurs that score each other's applications, and then we have investors that score the applications. And what I'm seeing in terms of the investor community right now is revenue is the new black. It used to be like millions and millions of users. Like if you have your Instagram for wombats or whatever, Like, I have 1 million downloads. Well, it's only sexy if you have 1 million downloads and you're growing by 500,000 downloads every other week. Right now, kind of the push that I'm hearing from the investor community is that they want to see revenue out of startups. And so that's what we end up getting selected into our companies, because the investors actually do the selection for us.
Wow, thank you. And there goes my idea of doing Instagram for chupacabras. So,
For us, it's actually something a little bit different that most other programs actually don't. They may or may not look at. But what we really care about is the team, and more than the team is their willingness to learn. What I mean by that is a lot of the teams come in already knowing or thinking what they know what their customer segments are. And if they're going to go through our program and they're dead set on that's what it is and that's what they're going to continue to be, they're going to fail. They need to be coming in with a completely open mind and realizing that they're there to learn, and they're going to realize, shit, what I thought was cool is not cool. So let me try something different. That's the biggest thing for us.
thank you.
In our case, we do application process 3 times per year, and in average, we are receiving about 1,500 per round. So it's a lot of work. We have 2 criteria of selection. It's 50% behind the team and 50% behind the product or the project at the end. The thing is, we are very early stage, so we select companies that have just an idea, working on the prototype, an MVP with users, or scaling sales. In reality, we select in those 4 stages. And it's also important to mention that, equally than Jonathan, we outsource, I don't know, like 80% of the process. We have a company that is based here in San Francisco that helps us a lot with the platform, but also with judges that evaluates the project. So they build a rank, and based on that rank, we fine-tune the first 100 to select them.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead, Anita.
So first, I should emphasize that we are now in the middle of a major change of our model. In the past, we run 3 cohorts per year, and our criteria was mainly about the product, because we do this as part of our mission. So we focused on open source startups that open sourced either partially or fully their products, and that are pushing the boundaries of the web by creating really innovative products. So we weren't after any financial returns, but for us, the technology and openness mattered the most. From now onwards, we are actually gonna not limit ourselves to open source startups anymore, but we will partner with other programs and share the resources and expertise we have at Mozilla. So we will be offering our workshops to startups of the world, like of other programs all around the world.
So there's a skeptical part of me as an entrepreneur that I have to say says, you all are running a very new model as well. And as a result of that, what are some of the lessons that you've learned? And where have you failed? And how have you changed that failure into hopefully a new success? Because I know that a lot of accelerators are popping up here and there, and some of them do amazing and some of them don't. And I think that a lot of times people get a little bitter and a little like why should I apply when I've seen that X or Y has not done well through the system?
I'm happy to talk about failure. I fail all the time. My original idea when I came to Silicon Valley was if 1 out of every 10 startups succeeds, I figured I had to build 10 startups, and it was going to take me 10 years. And so my first 5 years of company building in Silicon Valley, I've failed 4 times. I'm on Hackers and Founders, which is my 5th. I didn't really want to start an accelerator, but what do you do when you start off 5 years ago having beer with 5 people in a bar, and now your meetups are like 150 to 200 people and you in a bar, and you talk to investors saying, hey, I have this software startup, and they're like, no, don't do that, like work on your accelerator. I'm like, what? Things that we've failed in particular in our accelerator program the last year and a half, I think that we haven't communicated. We haven't done a really good job with marketing and PR. We finally just launched our blog yesterday.
Yay.
I'm much more of the opinion of just, shut up and create value. At the same time, the investor community is like, oh, who? Hackers and what? Oh, you guys hang out in a bar. Oh, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm like, no, like, we've had a total budget of $220,000, and the market capitalization of our companies is $70 million. Like, we turned 220 grand into $70 million worth of market value. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, we just haven't done a really good job of talking about that.
For us, it's a new program that started on this coast. It's been going around on the East Coast for the last 2-3 years. And the biggest thing that I'm personally pushing for, since I'm the only Latina in the whole program, is getting Latino teams, like full-on Latino teams, not just getting, one random Latino surname. And I'm personally recruiting for Latino teams and Latina teams to really represent, because we don't have that representation. And since it's still new, I'm going to make it my personal mission to see all of your lovely faces in the cohorts to come. So that's a huge thing that we need to do and push, because even in our faculty, it's all white men. I love them, but we need some Latinos and Latinas, and just having women faculty. We have a huge wealth of knowledge just in this room that we could be sharing with others, and we just need to let people know that the talent is out there, and the talent is in here rather, and we need to show other people and showcase it.
We have been doing a lot of mistakes during this process. The program has more than 3 years, as I said. The biggest probably are related with miscommunications, especially in the message for entrepreneurs before they apply, to make sure they apply to the program. The good thing is we operate as a startup ourselves, so we're constantly collecting feedback and learning from the process. But if you ask me today, well, like one of the biggest mistakes that we made was to not share the message completely. So for example, the program used to work via a reimbursement process. That means you need to have some money in your pocket when you arrive to Chile to spend for the first month and a half. And we were not clear enough to communicate that, for example. So its biggest mistakes are behind communication. Could be internally or outside the organization.
When we started our program, we had the vision of making it totally open. So imagine an accelerator with no deadlines, no application procedures. You go there when you feel you're ready for that, when you feel that you're ready to get these support services. But so we started with that. We didn't have any deadlines to apply. We accepted startups whenever they felt ready and applied to the program. And we invited mentors and speakers and organized events, lectures, webinars, etc. But then after a while, we got the feedback from the startups we worked with that they preferred actually a structure where there is a start date and everyone is on the same page, everyone receives the same, listens to the same speakers, attends the same events, so they're all parallel. They all are on the same page in terms of the services and support they receive from us. So eventually we had to change the structure from this totally open model to an application deadline, application process, and a program period structure. So now that's why we started as a totally open program, and then we turned into one with a 3-month offering with a deadline to apply and an end date.
Great, thank you. So to wrap this up, quickly, what is your upcoming deadline so that everybody knows what the deadlines are and we can encourage people to apply? And also, why do you think diversity is important to your programs? Like some of your programs are, most of your programs are pretty open to anybody, but why is it that you're here? Why are you allying yourself to talk to us and to get us to participate?
So I only look white. I actually crecí en Costa Rica, soy de la raza.
¡Epa!
My dream when I came to Silicon Valley was to build a startup, have a $10 million exit, and then move back down to Central America and help build entrepreneurial ecosystems. We actually have 12 chapters of Hackers and Founders in Mexico. I think 2 or 1, or 2 in Chile, 1 in Uruguay. And it's a 500 million person market that speaks Spanish online. That's an insane competitive advantage. Having women on your team. I worked as an ER nurse for 20 years, long story, but it's weird being in the only female-dominated industry in the United States, and it's weird as a dude getting your ass pinched. I'm not saying I understand, ladies, but things can get a little weird from time to time. I get that. But I also know that 75% of women actually drive family purchases.
Amen.
I'm just like, I talk to investors like this on Sand Hill Road, and I'm like, dude, like Latin America, women are like, well, why would a woman need something like that? I'm like, next. So we're actually really excited about crowdfunding, just because I'm much more interested in having families support the entrepreneurs. I'm very interested in California's crowdfunding laws. We may be doing something like that in the future for our own funding ourselves. And our next application deadlines are in January.
Great, thank you.
So I don't have an application deadline for you yet. I will have something within the next 2-3 months, and I'll keep you posted. So ping me.
What's your Twitter handle?
At Edith Marketing.
Thank you.
Thank you. And diversity, I'm tired of being the only Mexican surname in the entire Haas School of Business, basically. So come join me. Don't let me be the only one. That's why we need more diversity.
We really believe in diversity. Actually, in our application process, there is no barriers or like any variable related with gender, nationality, if they have a PhD or never went to college. So if you see a specific generation at Startup Chile, which is normally component by, I don't know, 150 people, you will find people that came from many different countries and cultures. It's not relevant the gender also. In the startup report, genome report, I forgot the name, one of the highlights of Santiago as a pole of innovation or a startup ecosystem, it has the highest number of women founders. It's 16%, still very low, but it's way bigger than Silicon Valley. So we really believe in diversity. At the end, we think that good things will happen if you have a diverse group of people working together. And for me, diversity means not just gender or geographic area where you're born, also, I don't know, what you study, what you did before, background, and all the things related with that. Our next application, actually, we are announcing results of the last application of this year next Monday. So if any of you applies in the last round, results will come next Monday. And the next application round starts on March the 4th next year. So it's a while, but hopefully some of you apply.
Thank you.
Diversity definitely is very important for us too. And since day one, we made sure our program is open to anyone from anywhere in the world. Our next deadline is, well, we don't have any deadlines anymore, but we will be working with other programs and hopefully bring our workshops to wherever you are.
Great, thank you. So I want to thank our speakers, and I really do want to encourage all of you to come up, talk to them, figure out if it makes sense for you. The different programs have their own flavor, and you should figure out what makes sense for you. But I really want to thank you all for coming and for supporting. And yes, let's not all be the only ones in the room. Thank you.